These are 5 books that transformed a Jackson 5-child performer into the king of pop, revealing a brilliant mind hidden behind the moonwalk and the glove. Michael Jackson's secret intellectual life shaped everything from his business empire to his most famous songs. Yet almost nobody knew about his obsession with reading. While the world saw the entertainer, Michael Jackson was quietly building a library of over 10,000 books at Neverland Ranch. His attorney Bob Sanger discovered this during the 2005 trial, and later revealed that Jackson was very well read in the classics of psychology, history, and literature, which was especially impressive for someone who was self-taught. Sanger would find Jackson with books open, bookmarks in place, notes scribbled in the margins where he loved to sit and read. Jackson himself understood the transformative power of books. He once said, "I wish I could advise more people to read. There's a whole other world in books. If you can't afford to travel, you travel mentally through reading. You can see anything and go any place you want to in reading." This was especially meaningful coming from someone who had written his own autobiography, Moonwalk, in 1988, proving he understood both sides of the reading experience. But which specific books shaped the mind behind Thriller and Bad? The first and most influential was Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. This wasn't just Jackson's favorite book, it became his personal philosophy. The 1970 fable tells the story of a seagull who refuses to conform to his flock's limited expectations. While other seagulls focus only on finding food, Jonathan pursues flight as an art form, seeking perfection beyond what society deems acceptable. Jackson read this book multiple times and gave copies to everyone he loved. Kobe Bryant revealed that Jackson handed him the book with specific advice. Don't be afraid to be different. When you have that desire, that drive, people are going to try to pull you away from that and pull you closer to the pack to be normal. It's okay to be obsessed with what you want to do. Frank Cassio, one of Jackson's closest friends, explained the deeper connection. Michael wanted to live that way, fly beyond all expectations, live an extraordinary life. He instilled that ambition in me, often asking me, "Do you want to be Jonathan or one of the other seagulls?" Jackson even annotated his personal first edition copy, writing his thoughts across the inside cover in blue ballpoint pen and signing it June 23, 1996. That annotated copy later sold at auction for $15,000. The seagull's message resonated because Jackson himself had been expelled from the normal world of childhood, forced to perform adult responsibilities at age 5 with the Jackson 5. Like Jonathan, he found transcendence through pursuing perfection in his art, even when it meant isolation from the pack. But if Jonathan Livingston Seagull taught Jackson to soar above expectations, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie gave him permission to Neverland. "I am Peter Pan," Jackson reportedly declared, and he meant it literally. The boy who could fly and never grew up became Jackson's personal identity. This wasn't casual fandom. When Jackson visited Paul McCartney's ranch while filming Say Say Say, he immediately began plotting to purchase the property. In 1988, he bought it for millions and renamed it Neverland Ranch, transforming it into a real-life version of Peter Pan's magical island, complete with amusement park rides, Disney-inspired landscaping, and a private zoo. Jackson biographer Randall Sullivan noted that the performer saw himself as a real-life Peter Pan, going so far as to have plastic surgery to copy the character's look. He eventually gave himself the nose of the boy. The young actor Bobby Driscoll, who was the model for Peter Pan in Walt Disney's movie. Critics later coined this the Peter Pan syndrome. But for Jackson, it represented something deeper. He never had a childhood. At 5 years old, he was performing in adult clubs with half-naked women, drunk individuals, and just a lot of things that a child shouldn't be exposed to. Peter Pan wasn't escapism. It was reclaiming what had been stolen from him. The third book that shaped Jackson's empire was P.T. Barnum's autobiography. In 1980, Jackson discovered the showman's life story and became obsessed. He gave copies to his lawyer and manager, declaring, "Make this your Bible. I want my career to be the greatest show on earth." Barnum's philosophy of creating spectacle and controversy became Jackson's blueprint. Soon afterward, Jackson started making headlines not just for music, but for sleeping in hyperbaric chambers, wearing surgical masks in public, and turning his home into an amusement park. He even featured Barnum's image in the artwork for his Dangerous album in 1991. The strategy worked brilliantly and backfired spectacularly. As one critic noted, by the mid-1980s, he had a lot of us paying more attention to the freak than the artist. Jackson had learned Barnum's lessons too well, becoming a master showman who sometimes overshadowed his own musical genius. Jackson's intellectual foundation came from his fourth major influence, the works of Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. Doug Dutton, owner of the now defunct Dutton's Books in Los Angeles, remembered that Jackson visited regularly since the 1980s. He loved the poetry section, Dutton noted, and Emerson was Jackson's clear favorite. Emerson's transcendentalist philosophy emphasized individualism, intuition, and finding an original relation to the universe. His famous essay Self-Reliance became particularly meaningful to Jackson. The idea that true wisdom came from within, not from conforming to society's expectations. This philosophy permeated Jackson's lyrics and worldview. The idea that each person must find their own path to enlightenment. Jackson's son Dirk Dutton observed that you would find a great deal of the transcendental, all-accepting philosophy in his lyrics. Songs like Man in the Mirror and Heal the World reflect Emersonian themes of personal transformation leading to universal change. The fifth book that grounded Jackson was The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This was one of Jackson's childhood favorites. Along with Washington Irving's Rip Van Winkle, Jackson would return to Hemingway's tale whenever his life became chaotic, using it to remember to slow down and find inner strength. The story of an aging fisherman's epic battle with a giant marlin spoke to Jackson's own struggles against forces beyond his control. Like Santiago, Jackson faced seemingly impossible odds, the pressures of fame, media scrutiny, and personal demons, but continued fighting with dignity and determination. Jackson's reading habits revealed a man far more complex than his public image suggested. His attorney Bob Sanger recalled discussing psychology, Freud and Jung, Hawthorne, sociology, Black history and sociology dealing with race issues. During his 2005 trial, when a judge mentioned the jury system was 200 years old, Jackson quietly corrected him. "Bob, the jury system is much older than 200 years, isn't it? Socrates had a jury trial, didn't he? Yeah, he had to drink the hemlock." Jackson's commitment to reading extended beyond personal growth. He would close bookstores after hours for private shopping sprees, arriving in a big van with children who could buy whatever books they wanted. Cindy Moya, a former Bookstar employee, remembered these visits where Jackson wore surgical masks but encouraged young people to discover the same transformative power of books he had found. The books that shaped Michael Jackson reveal a brilliant mind seeking answers to questions about identity, purpose, and transcendence. From the soaring ambition of Jonathan Livingston Seagull to the eternal youth of Peter Pan, from Barnum's showmanship to Emerson's individualism and Hemingway's perseverance, these works created the philosophical foundation for one of the most influential artists in history. Jackson understood what many missed, that true artistry requires more than talent. It demands a worldview deep enough to touch the universal human experience. His library of 10,000 books wasn't just a collection. It was the secret laboratory where the king of pop forged his extraordinary vision. In a world that often dismissed him as merely an entertainer, Michael Jackson was quietly building a mind that would change popular culture forever, one book at a time.